name is Lisbeth Jaimes, and this is my English presentation. So I decided to name my presentation Rabbits in order to symbolize Lenny's idea of the American dream. Um, for this presentation, I also decided to stick with the original ending just because I think it's the best option. And I chose the original ending for multiple reasons. The first one being that Lenny wasn't brutally killed, but rather died at the hands of his best friend. So if George hadn't done what he did, Lenny would have suffered and gone away terrified. So I think it was right, what George did. For my second reason, I said that Lenny passed away peacefully. He was shot, but it was again by his best friend. I believe my second reason can be connected to my first reasoning. So George told Lenny to turn around, and they both started reminiscing about their previous conversations about their idealistic life, and included a farm and rabbits especially for Lenny. And Lenny was excited talking about their dreams when George shot him, so I think he passed away peacefully, and it would have been much better than being lynched by people filled with hatred. So for my last piece of reasoning, I said that I feel like my last reasoning has more to do with the readers and the audience. I believe that the writer was trying to show something, like demonstrate all that is lost while trying to achieve the American dream. And, Lenny lost his life in the process. George lost his best friend, and pretty sure Miss Wolf said this before. I don't know if someone else said that too, but it's the American dream, so close but so far. I guess that quote also demonstrates that quote also connects to Lenny's death. For my counter arguments, I chose Lenny being put in a mental institution. I was really indecisive on what to choose, whether he should be put in a mental institution, because he was battling mental illness, but then I remembered that it was in the 1900s, and treatments that were used were very harsh and brutal. It was basically torture. Not only that, Lenny would also have to be isolated from George, whom which he's really connected to. So I think he'd just be sad and depressed, and probably for the rest of his life, or most of it. And for my second counter argument, I chose jail. And I see jail as somewhere where bad people go for doing bad things. Like, it's a really basic explanation. And I think it is a bad thing that Lenny killed someone, but it was accidental, and it wasn't just like he was in a car crash and, the person ended up dying type of accident. It was Lenny was battling some mental issues and didn't mean any harm. And I believe that throughout the beginning and the rest of the novel, it really shows how Lenny is a caring person who doesn't mean no harm, doesn't mean any harm. The lingo from the books kind of, okay. So those were my counter arguments. So in conclusion, I decided to stick with the original ending because I feel like it was really symbolic and significant. So for my global goal, I chose global goal 8, which is decent work and economic growth. Um, this goal is really just surrounded with the main focus is providing decent work for all. And I was indecisive whether I should choose, sorry for the background noise, whether I should choose poverty or this one, and I ended up choosing this one because throughout the novel, Lenny and George are on the lookout for jobs, and they don't really get paid too well. And I also think this global goal connects to poverty because they do have similar interest for the specific targets. I also believe this connects to the American dream as well. Well, George and Lenny, um, aren't don't necessarily come from a financially stable background, and the American dream is said to be, it's described as anyone, no matter what social class they're born into, can be successful. And and I think that connects to the American dream, but I believe that the American dream is real. It is a thing. People can achieve anything if they really do set their mind to it, but it's not really easy, especially for George and Lenny. It's nothing they can't achieve the American dream. It's just a lot of people don't, and it is much harder for people coming from similar situations as George and Lenny. So, that concludes my presentation. Thank you.